Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to your Sunday Tonic conversation with the Love Crusader. It promises to be another wonderful, powerful edition. Um, Today, yes. You can tell when I'm excited, right? About an edition. Sometimes I even forget what to say. All right. If you're coming across this platform for the first time, it is called Conversation with a Love Crusader. It's a platform where we talk about love, we talk about life, we talk about relationships, and all of this in a very fun way. So we're just gisting and we're just having conversations around these serious issues. We are live every Sunday at 6 p.m. You can subscribe so you would not miss any of our notifications. We're on YouTube at Men Fences TV. We're on Facebook at Men Fences, Instagram Men Fences underscore love, TikTok Men Fences underscore love. Alrighty. We have a very interesting topic before us this evening, and I have some very, very special and talented people here to treat this topic. Okay, so first of all, introductions, as they would say. My sister, my superstar, my friend, my darling. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of time. Forgive me to do some introductions so you know why these people are here. This woman is an all round woman, engineer, mother, nurse, musician, movie producer, actress, name it.
Well.
That's the person sitting here.
Only
She
you
just
are.
loves to be called Christine, not more than that. Her humbly self. Christine is here in the studio. Everyone, say hello.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. She's the big fish that sometimes to catch her here is hard, but I understand. Anyways, Men Fences is me and her that started it. She abandoned me somewhere in the journey. But the Lord is bringing her back because the first vision is our first love. All right. Then move to the next person. Patrick G. Dr. Patrick Giwa, PhD. Because it's not easy. Now I'm respecting people that have PhD much more. Dr. Patrick Giwa, PhD is in the house. And I mean, no other person to come and do justice to love and social media than him. He is, like I said, a researcher. He's IT guru, and of recent, he has co-produced, produced at the column, an app,
Founded.
an app,
Co-founded.
co-founded. Oh, thank
That's
you.
the right one.
He's co-founded an app, and he's not going to pay me, so I don't know whether I should do the advert, but I'll do the advert. It's my brother, Pace Al. I just got on the app myself, so and I've done some amazing things which he does not even know. He's looking at me. I've already used the app. I've gone there to really see what is happening with that app. You go try it. I'll type in the name for you. If you don't know it, download the app and see what it can do for you. Then you know why he's here to talk to us today about love and social media. Welcome, PJ, to the house. All
Thank you,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And then my co-host, of course, another doctor. We're all here with, I like to roll with powerful people. My handsome co-host, he doesn't need introduction, but we still introduce him all the time. Man full of wisdom, medical doctor Emmanuel Obayeje. Welcome again.
Used to be here.
All righty, people. Let's go into it straight. Social media. I used to always say at the time that people like us were doing love, sis, no social media, no phone, no text, no midnight call, no we're doing letter. Dear, I hope you are. If so, dosology. Let's talk about the social media trend. This generation, social media, and love and lifestyle generally.
Mm.
Yes, your comment. What do you have to say about it?
Simply put, social media is both a blessing and a curse. when
Both
it
a blessing and a curse. All
when it
right.
comes
Tell
to
us.
love and general life. It's a blessing because it gives you the avenue to explore, connect with people. There are people that I know via social media that I have not even met in person and have built relationship over the years with. So, which is a beautiful thing. So social media has that power to give you the avenue to express yourself. There are lots of people that just using social media platforms have helped them build a lot of financial strength and stuff like that. Our focus is more about love, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
tonight.
mm-hmm.
So it's a so I'm going to just focus on finding maybe the right partner, meeting people, and making friends. So love for me is not just the um man and woman kind of love. I'm referring just relationships on a general note. So social media gives you that platform to like stay connected to people that you love, you're concerned. People meet new people and just find that expression. So it's good. At the same time, the cost part of it is that the abuse of social media is also exponentially great. It's just been when you hear the kind of things that have happened by the use of social media, it's very embarrassing to hear the kind of things people do by social media. That's why I used the word or made that statement that it can be both a curse and a blessing. So it's the usage of it that actually matters, how people use it. So social media in itself isn't bad. How is it used? So yeah, that's what I mean by that.
Patrick, do you agree? A curse and a blessing.
Yeah, yeah. I generally agree with that sentiment. I don't have anything, but I guess I'm just asking, or I want to ask, in terms of love, and because I'm becoming pro the apps, the what do you call them, relationship apps or dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, would that be classified as social media as well, or that's
Mhm. They're all part of it.
okay? Yeah, so I'm becoming pro them. I'm becoming I advise people to get to them because like you started and when you're introducing in our time, and even though I haven't been out of the market for that long, but even in my time we still met people in person, but now it's looking like it's all via apps because I don't know, for some reason people. So yeah, I'm becoming pro those kind of ways of meeting, but I think we would have to delve into more questions and discussions to really understand the angle of that. That's good and not so great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, Emmy, is that your Dr. Sabo? Is that your sentiment too? That it's a curse and a blessing.
Well, it is whatever we describe it, it's here to stay. Um, so it's not going anywhere. So how do you say it? They are in the world. They are not of the world type of a situation. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to find a way to use it. I agree that for the most part, these are tools. And typically, when these tools are created, the creators tend to have genuine motives of trying to help people's lives get better, including the aspects of love, meeting people, knowing people, connecting. And all that's supposed to foster love, is supposed to foster understanding, it's supposed to break barriers, it's supposed
Mm,
to help us get out of our own little box in our own little corner of the world and
mm,
see the world, as a bigger place where we're part of a larger family. But just as the first speaker said, this tool can be misused.
mhm.
So, but I still think that it is something that is here to stay regardless. So we might as well explore how we can benefit or position ourselves to benefit.
What network is trying to misbehave? Okay. I think he's made his points. It's here to stay. It's now a part of our life.
Yeah.
A lot of people surprisingly get more and more into social media, and new apps are coming out, new softwares, new ways of doing things. There's the general, I'm still talking in the general terms now. There's the general fear, for example, that AIs will take over people's jobs and people's lives. And do you think that we are coming to a situation or a time when it will just be all about robots and all about computer dating and I don't want to say it, but I mean it's the truth. People are now marrying robots. So we already have the problem of women are much more than men in the world, so we hear. And now they are creating female robots for men to marry. So should we also be afraid that when it comes to love and loving, we're going to get a time when people will not need humans again and we'll just be dealing with ourselves as per like robots and apps and machines? And what do you think?
I think that Patrick should answer that.
Patrick,
really.
founders of app.
No. We're not there yet. I wouldn't be concerned about
But
that.
are
Those
we
are
going there? Because you just said we're not there yet. Are we
no, we're
going
not
there?
there. I don't think so. Those are edge cases, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think you probably know this more than I do. Humans, we crave the companionship of other humans. So the whole robot thing, I don't think you would get to that point. Tech will not get to that point. We still need human beings to interact with.
Okay.
101%. And the reason why I said he should say is because he's a tech person. But in all reality, the robots and all that stuff, I mean, you still have people that need to operate these things. The human connection you cannot, no matter how much we try, we've heard all the explanations from AI specialists and all that. I don't think that we really can get to a point where, you know, a robot will really replace a human being, no matter how much we try. In all sincerity, the human nature, why, okay, so besides even the love part of it, the human nature is that humans will always fight for their own existence. So even though we're saying AI, blah blah blah, the reality is that when we start feeling threatened that we're going to be extinct by this thing, we start fighting it, or without even realizing, because that's the reality. That's the nature of the human race. That's the truth. So I know that when it gets to a point where people are feeling like, okay, this thing is going to it's going to result to the fact that I'm kind of dead. No, this is a threat, and it's still the same humans that are bringing life to AI. Okay, so I don't think this conversation should be about AI.
But it's part of it. It's part of it because, okay, let me explain why. And I think from here we can begin to talk. First of all, I want us to delve into how social media is making relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
Now people use algorithms to match people.
Yeah.
Right? Matchmakers are using social algorithms. You put in your details. This is who I am. This is my personality. This is this. The man does the same. Oh, you're a match. That is those things you see that people swipe on app and dating apps. That's how they come about. So that's why we cannot run away from talking about AIs, when we talk about it. But generally now, let's talk about how social media is making relationships before we go into how it's marrying it. So what are some of the examples you've seen? And in what ways you think?
I think you just even mentioned one of the uses or the pro of, like the algorithms and stuff like that, because those things actually count. A lot of times people do not even discover who they are, the kind of things they like, but those things you realize that, because someone has done like the work for you and has made a set of whatever that you can tick, and then you realize, this is really not what I like, this is what I like, because sometimes you're not able to find the right expression or words to say this is what you like, this is what you know. So those things kind of makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I just want to say that. Then I've seen a lot of people that have met themselves, or the people they are married to now, and have had a wonderful relationship on Facebook. And they'll tell you, I met the person on Facebook, or I met the person by Instagram, or stuff like that. Lots of people that have met each other via social media networks, and they discovered this is a wonderful person, and they took out time and got to know the person, which is the human connection part. But it started off with that, so that's a plus because they probably never have met under a different circumstance if it wasn't that app or platform that gave that that kind of place for them to meet, so social media can do those kind of good stuff. I've met people to say they met each other from this kind of, what do you call them, the apps of relationships,
Dating apps.
dating apps, and stuff like that. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I met the person on dating apps. Good, bad, we've heard all the stories, but I'm just saying that, so let's look at the good, like you said, the pros. So we've had a lot of people that have had those experiences, so it's not in itself bad.
What do you think, Patrick? Is it making really? Is it socially that really making love? Is it helping us, socialize better and find love? Let me use it that way. Are we really finding love via social media?
Oh, no, I don't have the statistics on it, but I think it's helping. But I think it's also heightened. How do you say it? Fakeness. I don't know what the right word is now, but pretends.
Expectations.
Exactly. So again, it's like you've established, the creators of these things, they've put it out there for good things, but you have people who go up there and create fake profiles, and you have genuine people matching with the wrong people. So I think I was speaking to someone recently, and who was genuinely looking for love, but the kind of people they were meeting on those platforms, when they got to then see them in person, it was like, this is not the person I saw, on the profile, So that is concerning. And as human beings, you'd always have those things. But like I said, I still advise that people go into those dating apps to find people. I think they help. I haven't been in it before, but I do think that there are niche ones that you can use to find soul partners. And then in terms of the general sense of social media, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know. I've heard, just like you and Christine, I've heard people who slide into each other's DMs and find love that way. But I don't know. I don't know about those ones. I really don't know.
Get married just by sliding into people's
Yeah.
DMs. So I think it's just, for me, the way I see it is just this one is not said like, oh, this is a dating app, but it's just a means to an end. A lot of times it's not really even people that are looking, so you're not really looking at that guy that, oh, this is going to be the guy or something, but it just became a means to get talking, and from talking it builds up into something else.
You make a good point. I suppose I don't know if Comfort,
yeah, go ahead.
You go into this at some point, right? But I think it then make a case for how you present yourself on these social platforms, right? Because how you present yourself, perception, they say, is everything. How you present yourself then determine the kind of people or quality of people that slide into your DMs. So, I'm sure, like, if you present yourself in the same way, same people slide in, or maybe also there are just people who are just out there sliding into everyone's
Exactly.
DMs.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, for me, as even a mama that you will call mama, with all of the, I'm very sure if you go on my profile, you would clearly see that my husband is there. I'm married, my children, are adults.
You see how people slide into your DMs?
Young boys. Hello.
Really?
Young boys.
Yep.
Kristen, you as well.
Where are you?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, okay. That's interesting.
Hello. Where are you chatting me from? And I'm like, hello. Did you not look at my profile?
Oh yeah, you see my profile.
The other one said the other day, hey, beautiful. I say, Then I waited. I went to check his profile. Omode, like my son's mate. I say, okay, your mom is a very beautiful woman too. So me, I'm your mommy's mate. So I think sometimes it's not just about how you present yourself, but I don't want us to go into we're coming into the areas where we'll talk about all of I wanted to just actually project the positive first.
Yeah.
There are some people who don't even believe in social media, even in this generation, and how as widespread And as we have said, has come to stay. Somebody is smiling because I've told him that he will tell us why he's not active on social media, so he knows I'm coming for him. So some people don't. I want us to be able to project some of the positive to kind of encourage them, because I see not being active on social media as someone who is saying, I have a headache, so I cut off my head rather than take Panadol. Should you stay off totally, or should you leverage the positive safely? Okay.
Is that a question for me? Because I
Emmanuel.
think you just waited.
Indirect. That's an indirect attack.
Your question. I told you to get ready. You were going to tell us.
So yeah, I'm not really active on social media. That's true. Actually, I probably am not on a lot of the platforms you've mentioned. I'm not on them. There are some that, well, some people may not consider platforms, but I think they're still social media platforms like WhatsApp. But they're pretty, I don't want to say basic in terms of use. Well, I really didn't stay away from social media from the, I have something against it, standpoint. I don't really have, like I said in my, my initial statement, it's a tool. These are all tools. I don't really have some kind of enmity with it. But at the same time, it's just a matter of preference, a matter of time. It's a matter of what you like. It's a matter of the social platforms or social places where you want to be at. If I have a reason to be on social media now, I probably would jump in and be on there for that specific reason. Anyway, I'm not supposed to be describing my personality here, but I tend to have a reason for doing what I do. For me, it's not random. So there has to be a purpose to it. As of now, it's not really, I don't really have as much of the time or see the need per se. It's not, but who knows? I may just be on one social media platform the next week. Who knows? So I don't have something against it, to be fair.
Okay.
Now, there are those who do have things against it.
Yes.
So
we
need to speak
We're
about
going to come
that.
to those who have things against it and why they do have things against it. But one other aspect of the positive I want to talk about is the learning that we get on social media, which is still, like we've described, a blessing and a curse. But I believe that there's a lot of and I mean, I stand to be corrected. That's why you're here. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of empowerment that come with having access to what's happening out there, what you can learn from someone else's experience if they share in relationship and love. And what do you think?
Okay, so before I try and answer that, I would try to say, based off on the question you asked, Emmanuel, I don't think that it is, if someone says they don't want to be on social media, it's because maybe they hate it or they think it's bad. I feel like, for example, I was super active on social media at one point, and because it was like what Emmanuel said, it was necessary for what I was doing at the time of my life to constantly be on social media. I needed to promote my music, I needed to promote my films, I needed to promote my productions. Yeah. And so that was the key drive. So I had Facebook that was, in fact, I really don't go on that Facebook. And a lot of people are like, oh, you had such a following. Why, because that was not the drive. The drive was to be able to just spread out my work at the time. And so right now, I'm not there as I used to. So I think it's people's right to choose what they're comfortable with. It's not because they think it's bad or good. Okay, now to the question you just asked, because I really wanted to answer that. It was in my head, like, no, it's not a thing it's not like it's bad.
The learning opportunities
I
to
think
learn.
that you can actually get to learn things from whatever avenue. And if you have a very active, maybe spouse, for example, on social media, my darling, the learning comes to you even when you're not there.
I don't understand. Explain. What do you mean learning comes to you?
I mean, if you have a very active social media person as a partner, they always come and tell you all the gist. on social media. Oh, this is what's happening. I'm like, okay, how did you know? How did you know? Somehow you get to hear it. I'm just saying, in life, you get to hear information. I mean, you still have Google. I constantly Google stuff. So once I hear anything, I'm constantly finding out, oh, what's happening, what happened, and all that. So I'm just saying, it does not necessarily mean if you're not on social media, you are really missing out on life. You get what I'm saying? Or you are missing out on information. It's not really, that's not your only avenue to be able to get it. So if that is the drive, it doesn't necessarily have to be on social media. Social media just, okay, maybe it's very accessible. It's easier to just, ping, and just get that. But it still comes back, like Emma said, back to your choice.
In this generation of AI part, I mean, like I said, I went on Pace AI. It's Pace AI, but I always call it Pace Owl. It's Pace AI. Yeah, I promised I was going to type the name. I'll type it here for those of you who have not seen Patrick's app. It's called Pace AI. I went on Pace AI to get a LinkedIn post, and I did it within, no exaggerations, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, including my edits. It took 0.0 something seconds for the AI to give me a nice section that covered all of the small topic that I posted or asked it to give me. And then I took some 2-3 minutes to sit down and edit, and my work was done. In this kind of level and in this kind of generation now, are we really not missing out on learning?
Sorry,
no, hold on. I'm bringing it to Patrick.
I'll allow him to answer that. I just wanted a clarity on when we say social media and using of apps. I think we're beginning to merge it.
They're together. They're together. We're saying the same thing.
When we're talking about what I mean by that is that apps, for example, there are lots of apps even on your phones that you constantly use, and you don't necessarily have to be on social media. Do you understand what I mean? For example, like the Pace AI that you're talking about, it's giving information about stuff, but I don't necessarily have to engage with people. When we say social media, it's really more that kind of app that relates with people. That's my understanding.
But for example, I used it to create a LinkedIn post, which I used to engage with people. Because I have a professional following and a professional platform on LinkedIn. We are currently live right now on LinkedIn, and I have a following. I have people who are that I'm talking to, and to get this information I want to get out, I went to the app.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So most of the content that are being produced and prepared and brought forth, they come from all of these places and all of this apps. So they are kind of interwoven. Can we really separate them? What do you think, Pat?
I think
help us here.
No, I think we can, because I get where Christine's coming from. But to your point around the missing out on learning some social media. A few years ago, I because I used to be sort of anti-social media. It just got to a point where it became a little bit too much. So after Facebook came Instagram, then you had Twitter, then they came on Snapchat, and then there was, and I was like, look, it's just,
and now we're
too much now. Yeah. And at that point in time, I was just like, oh, look, I had this Facebook, I was able to keep up with my friends, and it's like, okay, this is enough. Why do I need Instagram to follow the same people that I'm following on Facebook? Like, it didn't make sense to me at the time. But I just had some form of epiphany, which was the words, we have, this is real life we're in now, and then you have virtual world, social media. And it's looking like the world is switching. I think it's a bad thing, but I think that's what's happening. Real life is not where people matter anymore. It's like the virtual world, social virtual life. It's now filtering into real life. Like, people care more about how they come and look out in the virtual world than how they look like in real life. It's almost like that's where it's happening than the real life. And I said this to myself: if I don't evolve, I might just dissolve. And it's because of the things that I do in IT. If I don't, promote my career, put myself online, like people will not care about me anymore. You're watching somebody's YouTube videos, you see people there who, you're like, I understand what you're saying. They're just able to put themselves more out there. Like, it's not like they're any better than I am, but then they get all of those opportunities that's coming to them. And it's like, if I don't also push to put myself out there, I might not get all these opportunities. So for me, I started making a little bit of more effort to show up on social media. But I like what Emmanuel said about having a purpose for it. And I feel like majority of the people do not have any purpose for it. Like, people are just on Twitter. I hear people, they're on Twitter, they're fighting themselves. They like, I don't know how people have the time to do that. So that is beyond me. So I am intentional about how I use it and how I show up. So the WhatsApp one, I really want to come to that one because there's a point I want to make on that one. LinkedIn, for example, is where I show up because it's professional. It's the kind of conversations I want to, be part of. And I connect with people who are in the same profession as myself. So in terms of learning, there are lots of like, growing up, we didn't grow up, and we didn't grow up where we were taught how to get mentors. We've grown up now to understand that, wow, it's important to have mentors, people who are, steps higher, ahead of you. And, in the world of LinkedIn, there's so many people who are just way ahead of you, who you don't necessarily need to pay for them, but they're just sharing knowledge, and you can just take all of that knowledge and apply to your career. So I'm intentional about LinkedIn, for example, because I do projects, entrepreneurship projects here and there, and I need to promote them. I tend to find myself in other social media. By other social media, it's only Instagram, and Instagram was only of recent. And again, as much as you try to be intentional about how you show up in these apps, they are built to suck our time. So Emmanuel, I envy you who do not have any reason to be on it, because if you actually don't have any reason, it's good. But if you have a reason, you then need to be really, really intentional about it not sucking your time, because the algorithms are built to suck up our time. So one of the ways that I control myself, because I find that, hold on, I'm spending too much time on here, I limit it. I limit it to 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Once that time hits, it just cuts off, and I'm not able to access Instagram for the day. So every day I spend not more than 45 minutes on Instagram, and that's it. And I move on to something else. So I'm very intentional that way. Then you have WhatsApp. The point I was going to make about WhatsApp again, about how you show up and things like that, and how you're intentional. I see social media again as another opportunity to reach out to other people. And I'm naturally that person who wants to be inspiring to other people and help people that way. So if they've created all these apps where for some reason, Christine, for example, you have lots of people following you, I will still show up, right? Even though, fair enough, you're not in that space anymore, but somehow people are following you for a certain reason. So it's okay to share your journey and say, hey, this is where we are at the moment. Things are hard. It's okay to share that things are hard. People will find inspiration in that way. So WhatsApp, for example, I'm one of those people who you would never see me share happy birthday story on my WhatsApp story. Like, I don't know why everyone does that. I've had people even reaching out to me and asking me for my picture just so that they can have my WhatsApp story up, which I just find a little bit. So for me, it's a story. It's an opportunity to again share my message of inspiring people. So the only thing I use my WhatsApp story for is to inspire people. So these are the ways I think you can show up and learn. So follow people of like minds, and like Twitter, for example. I remember when I joined Twitter, the first person I followed on Twitter was or tweet at was Bill Gates, because at the time, I used to love Bill Gates so much, and at the time they said, "Oh, on Twitter you can tweet anybody. Anybody's gonna tweet back at you." Blah blah. I'm like, "What? It's amazing." Okay, Bill Gates, I love you so much. This is me. Blah blah. Of course, he didn't tweet back at me, but that's how I use social media. I connect with like minds because I want to learn from those people. So yeah.
Fantastic. Good stuff. I mean, do you have anything to add to that before we move to the map?
Well, the first thing I was going to say from a benefit standpoint is that it helps to increase the pool of people you meet. And really, I'm getting back toward love.
Networking.
Yes, it helps to increase the pool of people that you can meet, which is great. Because I mean, some people, depending on their routine, their daily routine between maybe work and certain things you typically do in your 24 hours, you probably aren't spending as much time as you should going out to specific social platforms or places to meet some specific type of people. And there are some people that may not necessarily be accessible to you just because of, it's the way it is. Maybe because of their notoriety in society, but they're also still looking for love. So social media platforms, I think, break that barrier and give you the opportunity to meet a wide array of people, which helps on the good side of, all right, I have these options. I can now begin to narrow down my choices, what works, what doesn't work. Talking about the use of algorithms and all that, that's just taking what used to be in terms of matchmakers and bringing it into a social, to the use of technology to help you match make. Although it's not a 100% guarantee, it is super helpful. It gets you there. So I'd say it this way. Social media is good from the standpoint of it starts, it helps you start, it gives you a starting point. Now, your finish line has a lot to do with the choices you make, both in terms of how you're using that social media and in terms of the outcomes you get from it.
Okay, Christine said 100%. She whispered it, but I help her to say it out. 100%. Thank you, gentlemen. So, my question now, before we delve into safely using social media, in finding love, because this is all about love on this platform. In finding love, when we begin to use algorithms, dating apps, social media, ain't we taking away the magic? I mean, remember our Cinderella stories, the Prince Charming, the novels we read. she's struggling really hard not to laugh now. There's some form of magic that comes with boy meets girl,
Where?
butterflies in your tummy. Are we taking that magic away?
Who's answering me?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I like you said at the beginning, I don't think I'm 100% the person you should be asking that question when it comes to finding love via social media, because that wasn't my story.
I know.
Yeah, so but from counseling people, from relating with people, because I've done a lot of work with single people and relationship, I don't think it takes the magic away. In fact, it kind of stirs up the magic more. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
From, like I said, from counseling and from talking to people and from engaging in things I've got to do with, I feel like a mini matchmaker. So, somewhat. But what I'm trying to say is that based off on those experiences over the years, I discovered that the thing of, okay, let me say it in Nigerian palace, see finish is less when you are using social media platforms. Because like what Patrick says, it's what you project out there. So it's kind of a safe space for a lot of people. Do you understand my point? Because it's what they want you to see that you get to see. It's how they want you to perceive them that you perceive them. Do you understand? I know it can be a bad, but I'm trying to explain that. So that's so exciting. So people, you find out that the girl is always looking good. And every time she's talking to you, social media, she can keep it looking like, oh my God, every time. So she's excited. It's more exciting because all the dirts are not unearthing until you start to know the real stuff, not meet the person. Then you start digging deeper and deeper, and then you're like, okay, it's not all roses and whatever. So I don't think if it's for the excitement, in fact, that is one of the things that actually drives the craze to social media. As per meeting love by that whatever, because it's a safe space. It's what I create that you get, so it's exciting for a lot of people. I create it the way I want to create. I be who I want to be over that platform at that time to you, and that's why sometimes people tell you that it doesn't feel real. after a while, because then you're not saying, okay, I don't want the makeup, I want to know you. I don't want all these razzmatazz. Who are you when it's all that is off, when the wigs are not there, when who are you? And then when they start delving into the deep, that's when the issues start coming up. That's when the excitement starts
dwindling.
So social media actually keeps that for me, I think. Okay, at least from, like I said, what people say.
Gentlemen, do we agree that the excitement is still there, or can still be there?
Let Patrick go ahead.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I like how you just lay that to me.
Smart guy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Kristen. I think it can still be there. I guess the question in my head is: should we be on social media for love? It's a question just that's playing in my head. And from a male point of view, if I'm in that space where, and I'm in 2023 right now, and I'm in that space where I'm looking for someone, how do I portray myself on social media, or even how do I approach ladies on social media, and vice versa, the ladies as well? If I'm in that space now where I'm looking for a potential spouse, how do I engage with these guys? Are there things to look out for? Do I even take them serious? Should I even consider it at all? That's just the question playing in my head.
I would say yes. I would say yes to all your questions, Patrick.
All right.
For somebody in the present day, generation, I'd say yes. One key thing, and I know there are negatives. We've talked about how things can be fake and all that stuff, but one of the things also that social media does is it gives people the opportunity to be themselves. There are so many people that are absolutely transparent on social media. What you see is what it is.
Yeah.
And they're not messing around. As far as they are concerned, the things that someone might consider a negative is serving as a filter to filter out those people that probably they would not be interested in the first place.
100%.
So those people see whatever it is and they're like, this one is not for me. Good. It wasn't meant for you. It was meant for someone else. And it gives a good starting point. Just like I said, there's so many barriers that just having that social media platform breaks down and gives you a starting point. And you can be 100% honest. Unfortunately, you cannot say that for everyone else, but then you need to do your due diligence, right? You need to, be on the lookout, know what it is you want. We talked about purpose to these things. If what you're looking out for is love, then you must understand or be aware that there are many people that are just looking to philander or mess around on social media that are not serious. So you need to, do all the work, go from start to getting serious, to meeting the person and all that good stuff. But it is 100% possible as long as
Oh, that's them.
The network is hanging with Emmanuel. Okay, all right. So we've hinted at the fact that we've hinted severally now that there are negatives. Let's talk about them. Apart from, we said there could be fake profiles, people portraying themselves as what they are not on social media. What are some of all the other negatives that people need to be aware of? Because that's important. When you want to use, you go in there with an awareness of, okay, this is what the challenges might be. It might make you more prepared, for whatever you go. What are some of the challenges people might face with the use of social media, especially when it comes to finding love?
I don't know if it's just about finding love. I think I hinted a little bit about it when I said that people are. So 1 minute.
Go on.
Okay, so people use this as an avenue to meet, and they see it as a safe space to project only what they want to project, like what Emma was trying to say, and probably not be sincere until you start to dig deep, and then you find out that what you see is not what you get. Okay, so but I think that the ma part for me is not just the finding love. The ma part is also the effect of social media on love that is already supposed to be found. And I think that is a
Expound.
major. The reason
Expound.
why I use the word suppose is that you already have found love, but you find out a lot of people that are even married folks go to social media as something else.
To slide into people's DMs.
Exactly, like you're saying, little boys are sliding into your DMs. You have a family, you have a wife, you're like what Patrick was saying, he makes sure he's whatever is on just 45 minutes. Like that's supposed to be discipline. You cannot be on social media from morning till night. There are some people that you can't go near their phones. And all this, it's the betting, is the pain or the harps of social media. And I don't want to just say technology. So those things are there. Like Ima said, they are tools, but how are they used? So you want to find someone and you're not sincere. You're talking to girls on a dating app, and you're talking to maybe like 15, 20 girls at the same time. You'll be confused. What do you want? How are you talking to a whole lot of human beings? And what are you looking for? So you're just about everywhere. And yes, some people say, we are just catching our cruise. We are just, the insincerity is laughing. I'm sorry to make you laugh. Patrick is
Go
just
on.
so hard.
Like I said, it's a fun platform.
It's a
Let's
truth.
laugh.
People are just
Why we
just
say the
there
truth?
to want to catch our phone and all that, and not thinking about the consequence of hurting people and what they are doing to other people. So those are the mass that we're talking about. So because people have been hurt over and over again, they do not believe, even when they, like what am I saying, even when they meet the real, it's like, it's too good to be true. Are you really not just projecting what you want me to hear? Because they've over time met all the other boys that are, or girls that are just, messing around. So those are the problems with the finding. But I feel that another part that is important to emphasize tonight is not just the finding love, it's a married man, a married woman, what are you doing on that social media, talking with other people in private? You have all your chat group as a married man, for example, is young girls that are calling you, oh, fine daddy, zaddy. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm dramatic. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it as real.
I love it.
Real, guys, because these are the things we're seeing. You hear people say, oh, I can't touch his phone. What are you doing on your phone that is so important? What are you doing on social media that is so important that nobody can see it? Why? And then you have a marriage with someone that is sitting down there. Sometimes when we go to eat or we're in the restaurant and we are on our phone, my daughter will just nudge us and say, guys, we are here to connect socially. Can we all drop our phones and talk? And we just, it's almost second nature. Pum, 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 pum. Yeah, sometimes they're just scrolling over Instagram, like
watching videos,
ping, 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 ping.
and time is flying.
Connecting with the
And
ones
TikTok know how to show you next video next.
Exactly.
Even when you click next, it shows you next. You don't click next, it shows you next.
So
there's forever something to see.
It is sad that the effects of social media, it's not just about finding the fake profile, blah blah blah. Even with the real ones that you have connected in life, we're no longer connecting with them. We're so engrossed with social media and what's happening there and blah 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 that you're not talking, you're not having a conversation with your spouse, you're not having a conversation with your children, you're not having a conversation with the people that are around you. So you're having a life with social media. And that love that you have supposed, that's why I use the word, supposed to have found, is dying. How do you mend that? What's wrong with discipline? Yeah? It's enough. I'm just here for this and then stop. So that's what's also, so I'm just saying, not just the finding, the ones that you found, the ones God have put in your life, what are you doing with them? Okay, sorry.
Awesome. I feel like, Kristen, that particular discussion, this warrants a part 2, because that is a whole, that's a whole lot of conversation around, like, actually, being married and be already in a relationship, and how do you bring in social media? It's almost like a third person in the relationship, but that's a whole. So that's, I see your sentiments there, and that's a whole lot of conversation. But one of the Mars as well, I was just gonna highlight. Emmanuel mentioned about people are honest on social media, and I tend to almost disagree.
Not all.
I want to believe that people want to be honest, but I feel like they project what they want to project, which was the point you made. They project the part of them they want you to see. And we all know that love is, you know, there was that it's patient. It's kind of, you know, there's a reason why it has to be
All
patient,
encompassing.
right? So there's so many other things. So for those people who are looking out for spouses on social media, I think you've got to be careful about how people portray themselves on there, because they're giving you the best version, of course.
Yeah.
So that there's that. Of course, there's the fakeness. You know, I would say we live in a world where people are changing genders, right? You know? So I've had story where you know, they saw someone, and then when they saw the person in real life, they're like, that can't be you, you know. So be careful about that as well. Those are one of the laws. Again, going back to the image, you know, us guys were moved by what we see. So people put out, and I'm sure guys do it as well, they put out the best version of themselves, the image. And so if you're the type of person who that's what you're after, I make a mistake, right? So again, just, you know what you want.
Before Emmanuel comments on this ma thing, there's something I really want you to talk to us as an IT person, Patrick. So people talk about the fact that your profiles, people can steal your profile. I know someone has mentioned it to me of recent. Oh, and don't put your pictures on your profiles. And people can steal your profile. People can use your picture somewhere else. How do we safely use the social media without all those fears? Without all those, because we're talking about image now. I want to go and find love on social media, for example. Is it really possible for me to have a profile and not put my picture? Because that is the first thing that is going to attract someone to me. And then if I have the fear of, if my picture is on social media, it can be used for something that is negative, and it can, how do I not safely use it so that I can, okay, more than obvious. So is it my question funny?
No, Emmanuel, I would love to hear what you think. But if I might be wrong here, Emmanuel, but I'm sure he's thinking, well, it's already out there. Like, there's nothing you can do about it right now.
Already out there.
If you don't put it on any one of the popular ones, you know, like when you're doing a passport, you take your image anyway. You know, they could use it for whatever they want to use it for. Like, there's no hiding where we are right now. I wouldn't. So if you're really concerned about those things, read the terms and condition. Every app will tell you what they. Money was laughing because no one does that. Read it. They will tell you, and not maybe the long ones. There is a way apps will tell you what they, before you sign on. For example, when you log in with Gmail, for example, Gmail, right? When you log in with Gmail, it will tell you what they would use your profile for. Some of these apps will take your profile picture, take your, you know, names and other things, emails, and use it on their system. So you could, you know, read those things and see where they're using your information. You can request for them to delete your information. But we're not in China. Now, China is where they are actually scanning people's faces and
cloning them,
and creating what they call in a social credit type of society. So you'll be credited based on how good you are in the society. And, you know, they're using people's face for that. It's actively happening right now in China. So, you know, you have cameras everywhere that are, you know, that would know you and how you're behaving and will reward you based on how you behave. So the Western world is not there yet, but
We're going to get there.
yeah.
I guess I carried the topic that I cannot deal with in 1 hour. And yeah, 1 hour is almost
this
up.
is cybersecurity now, so
yes, exactly. So it's covering a lot more than just the social media. We're talking cybersecurity and you know, stuff we're concerned about. You know, you can't put your head in the ground as an ostrich and say, well, there's danger all around, so I'll just be in denial. The best thing you can do is to be as educated as possible with these things, right? Know what it is that you have a purpose for why you want to use a social media platform. Try your best to stick with your purpose, right? And then along with that, continue to educate yourself about what's going on, what are people able to do with things, and then be be cynical to a certain extent, right? Everything you see, don't just take everything at face value and say it is what it is.
Mm.
Just be a bit suspect and do a bit of investigation into things before you start swallowing. Make sure you're 100% sure of maybe even the source of some of the information that you may consider good information. What's the source of it? Why is this person putting that information out there? What are they trying to achieve? These are
Yeah.
basic questions we generally ask when we meet people,
Yeah.
So if you're meeting people on social media platform, ask the same questions. Where is this person from? What are they like? Why are they here? What's driving this person? And then you begin to see what it is you can or cannot be comfortable with. Now, when it comes to reading the fine print and all that stuff, I'm just going to be honest about how I feel about it, which is if you sign up for it, you better just accept everything that's coming from there, all the good, bad, and ugly. Because
Oh,
quite frankly, a lot of these platforms, whether it's email, whether they're so easy to sign up. 2 steps, you're already signed up.
yeah.
If you want to delete your information, you go
Oh wow.
through you'll go through a whole lot to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
even then, they'll tell you of an agreement you signed on to by joining them, which you were not aware that give them the right to do this. Or it's a nightmare.
And you're
So
not
make
aware
up
because
your
you did
mind.
not read the terms and
Exactly.
conditions. Many of
Make up
us
your
don't.
mind before you go on. If you're going to sign up for something, just accept that you're putting, which is why we talked about image, what you project, right?
Mm,
Be careful about putting your kids' information on there. For example, there,
mm.
there are things we get just basic security awareness would help, but you also have to accept these things are not going anywhere. They're here to stay, and we're all one way or another going to be part of it. So.
And I
Can,
think I think the point Christine made about being disciplined is a very strong point. As much as we said we're not going into those who've already found love and all of that, for everyone generally, um, I, I don't know how people are able to stay on for hours.
Oh yeah. The
yeah,
whole day.
yeah, I
It's
can see
fun.
how. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fun for us when you're having fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
some
fun.
people are
People
having
watching
fun.
this only they're
It's
laughing and stuff.
built
They're
to exactly.
laughing. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. They're laughing. They feel
I
like
I
they're
I
happy.
I,
Why not?
I do social media, and I think there was one that someone met me that said, "Oh, so you're even here? I'm here. Oh, I'm here. I'm everywhere. I want to even know because me, I'm somebody who like to know, but I don't understand how. And I seriously, I seriously, I'm begging you if you're that kind of person, there's a whole lot you can do with that time. These people you're watching are making money. They are doing their businesses. They are projecting themselves. They are, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You do something. You do something.
Drop the phone and spend time with your family. I'm
We're
sorry.
even before we
Social
even reach there,
connection.
first of all.
Oh God.
Because
I
somebody
think
might say I don't,
Christine
someone
has
might
it.
say I don't have a family, right? I'm not even married. So
You
we're
don't.
talking, for example, to like someone who is not married, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can, there are some creative juices
Mm-hmm.
that comes to you when you drop that phone. When you can meditate, just think on your own sometimes, instead of just sitting with the computer and sitting with, and you don't have any other life besides the computer. I know ladies, the clothes they wear is what is they are wearing on social media. How they do their nails, social media. Anything that is on the rave, they start doing it. As a girl, as a woman, how do you allow
All those things
others,
dictate your life. Yeah.
yeah, dictate your life? You don't have any other life apart from the life on social media. So that discipline is what I'm even talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Before you talk about spending time, quality time with your family, somebody will say, "Hey, this is how I relax." Now you're a man, you've gone to work 8 hours, you've not been at home.
Um,
Then you come back home, you have maybe 4 to 5 hours before you sleep, before everybody go to bed. Especially at the dinner table, if you have one, that should be an avenue to talk about your day, you know, have a chat,
sounds
have a
sounds old school.
conversation. But you see some men, Some women, they are sitting by that phone.
Yeah.
Some women are constantly burning food, not even remember to pick their kids. Okay, let me not go there.
It's pretty deep, yeah.
It's wide.
And-
It's wide. So I think we should all discipline ourselves in the use of it.
I was just-
Whatever I had a call and they say in Yoruba language,
Yeah.
gbogbo nǹkan l'Ọlọ́run fẹ́, Ọlọ́run fẹ́ àṣejù.
Mm.
God loves everything, but he doesn't like anything you overdo. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just going to say that even as a single person that is alone, it's not that excuse just doesn't. Why? Sometimes the person you're looking for out there is in, they will say what you're looking for in Sokoto is in your Shokoto. What you are looking for out there is just that person that you should have just been
Your neighbor
relating
that you'd have
with.
said hello to.
Exactly.
Next door neighbor.
The next friend that you should have had a conversation with, just because you're not, because even if you go and meet that person on social media, you will still have that human connection where you will go out to eat and talk to the person and interface with people and relate with that person to have find love. No. So if everything is only on social media, you don't even know how to talk to people and relate to people that are around you or build that relationship around your life. How is that going to work in the long run? Okay, man is dying. I wonder why.
Do we not close off the opportunities where international relationship?
There you go. Those are the barriers that we pull down.
No, we're not
We're
saying
talking about taking a balance here and discipline. So
Yes.
we're not saying don't be. Remember, we have talked about the pros and we're on the cons. We're just saying about people that are on social media all day.
247.
Excessive use.
It's excessive. It's not good. So at the end of the
247.
day, even those that are single, because she mentioned that, for people that are single, they'll say that's their way of, spending time. I'm trying to say, even if you don't have a child or a wife or husband to talk to in your house, how about you relate with other human beings also? Say, okay, I've spent some time. It's okay.
But then they might not be. What if they're not the type of people that we want to relate with? So the good thing with social media is that I can connect with people of like minds.
Hold on, for example, if I were a lady,
Mhm.
a young single lady, right, that meets a guy on social media and we are chatting, and my guy is always chatting with me 247 on social media, I will not fall in love with you.
That's a no.
It tells me you are not serious person.
Yes.
For you to even have time to be there 247, you are not serious. That's what we're trying to say. There has to be.
I was talking to
The
maybe
balance.
I'm not understanding you here, but like in my early relationship, me and Patricia, we were on Facebook a lot of times talking to each other. Like back and forth. Obviously, we took it out of there as well, but like when we then go back home, we then carry on again.
That's what we're talking
night,
about
yeah.
now. But you were in school, you were studying, you were still doing other things. You would not, for example, leave the time you were meant to be in class to go and chat with Patricia.
I mean, I was
Because you are
excessive
so
at some
madly
point,
in
to be
love.
honest. I was excessive as
Well,
well. We were in love. It was constant back and forth.
Patrick, I think the difference with that was that you had met someone that you were interested with in,
and there was no
you
anyone
were
building
particular about that
you
person.
were building
and
something.
spending time. When we didn't have all the social media, we had other ways of spending time. Then my husband will come to the house after work. He'll close so late. He'll be in our house till what time? My father will have to come and tell him that,
Young man,
come and be going home.
He doesn't say uncle.
Are you not going?
He
Yeah,
says,
it's me.
young man.
Uncle. Young man, it's time to go
home.
And sometimes we don't. What are you talking about? Not so it's normal, but that's early love, normal. So that's different. You've met someone and then you're using maybe social media as your tool of communication.
Of building.
It's different from I'm looking for love. Like I said at the beginning, I am talking to 30 different girls constantly. Hello. Every time your this thing of presence is constantly green. Uncle, this guy, there's something wrong with this brother or this sister. You cannot constantly be green. You should have other things you're doing. That's what we're trying to say.
Okay, people of God, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Our 1 hour is over, and I don't like to keep people here for too long, but like I always say, I mean, the time really flies when we're having fun on this platform, and our 1 hour is always like 10 minutes. Thank you so much for your time. You see now, you people see why I'm looking for this elephant. She shouldn't be hiding. I should bring her more to the platform. I know she's quite busy now, and I understand, but we're going to try to get her more to come here because she's got a lot to give. And the kind of people that we are talking with. Remember, go and download Pace AI. Pace AI. That's our latest app. It's our own.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very, very proud. I talked to them about it at a conference. I went for a seminar, and I told them, I said, my brother co-founded an app. Yes, yes, you know.
Yes.
So it's us, and it's doing well. It's out there. It's already gotten over 10,000 subscribers within very few weeks that it came out. So it's something that you can go and try and go and check and look at. And so thank you, Dr. Patrick, for your time. Thank you, Mr. Minister Superstar Christine. It's so good to have you here. Thanks to Emmanuel. His network was quite unstable today and he's gone now. Thank you all. We've said it. Social media is good. It's a blessing. It's a curse. Balance the use of it so you can leverage on all of its benefits and all of its possibilities. It can do wonders for you. It can expand your network. It can help you to grow. There's a lot of things to learn. But just like everything that is good, there is the negative. So try and be careful while you are using social media. Next week is our Love and Question Sunday, and we have a few questions already from the conversations about healthy relationships that we had this month. And so I'll be here with my crew and my co-host to trash those questions next Sunday. And until we come again, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for coming once again. Have a love-filled week, everyone.
Thanks, Comfort.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.